Good morning, students. I'm audible? Yes, class?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I think this is the maximum strength also 42 now. Right. So I'm just giving you a outline of your subject that we are going to study in this semester. Right. And if you can see this image, you can see how in ancient time how we are going to communicate. Right. With the help of this, and then the having that Indian postal, and after that nowadays that we are using, that is through email. So this is a from traditional way, and we are improving our way of communication, and now we are having email, online, video, all other communication mean now we are using for communicating, right? So you can see someone is taking video, that video is then converted into DVD, then through DVD we are putting it into some medium, and through satellite over air we can watch it at home, right? This is another way. This is the current way of doing that communication we are achieving, right? I think this thing has already been discussed by Varun sir, that you are having 3 lectures and all. These are the books that you have to study for this particular course, that is Talonborn, and you are having Frozen, right, for reference. Why we are studying network? These are the possible job opportunities that is around the globe that we are having. That is network programmer, security in charge. Then we are having technician, service technician, network technicians. We are having network administrators. We are having network managers. These are the possible job domains that is uh, available in the market after understanding this subject, or if you take this subject as your core subject. So objective of computer network is to connect, and it is kind of service actually, and it also revolutionized the way in which we work or connect or communicate to the world. So networking is about making connection and finding out what we can do with the help or to help each other, and it's about service. It's all about service, reliable service that you can see. In the first unit you have studied, I think you have studied what is networking and all these components you have studied. What is router, what is firewall, what is repeater, what is bridge, what is workstation and switch, and how they are connected, right? And how data is transmitted from one end to another end. This is what kind of network. And you can see a computer network is, or a data network is a telecommunication network that allow computer to exchange data. So that is our prime motive, to transmit our data from one end to another end, right? So this thing you have studied in your first unit, and in particular you have understood that what is OSI models, that's a 7-layer model, and the TCP model you have studied, and you have seen that each layer have some role and responsibility, right? You can see that the lowest layer is the physical layer, then we are having data link layer, network layer, transport layer, session layer, presentation layer, and application layer on the top. So how data is converted from application layer, then it is going to send the data to presentation, session, then transport, network, data link, physical layer, and through your switch over the routers, multi-routers, it is reaching to the destination host in the same sequence, that is from physical layer, data link layer, network layer, transport, session, presentation, application layer. And in that particular application, now user can receive that data which the sender has sent, right? So this thing you have studied in unit 1. Talking about in unit 2, we are particularly talking about physical layer, and here we are talking about how data is being converted from that analog data is there, is converted into digital data, and then we are going to store it into memory, and then again from memory we are converting that data from digital to analog, and we are receiving it through some analog devices like this. So how communication actually take place inside the machine, that is what about unit 2, right? In this we are talking about data link layer, that is your current topic, where data link layer is being divided by two parts, that is sublayer, that is medium access control, and second one is logical link control, that we will discuss today. In unit 4, how data is going to be routed and reached to the particular network from one network to another network, and here the role of router will come in picture with the help of IP address. So we will understand what is IP address, and with the help of IP address we can uniquely transmit our data to particular device, right? So we having 32-bit address IPv4, that is Internet Protocol version 4. In unit 5 you will learn about transport layer, and you all know about the main functions. These all are the reliability, if we talk about, then ordering of delivery, then all these are the main that we will discuss in the next session, that is what is the role of transport layer and how it is transmitted. So what we have seen, that actual communication take place between process to process, not between system to system, not between node to node. That actual data communication take place between from one process to that is running in the sender side, and the other process which is running in the receiving side. So that we will learn in this particular chapter, that how communication take place, right? And the last one is the application layer, where all the applications that we have having, like your internet browser is there, FTP is there, TCP is there. All this area, what we call it, secure layers are there. That application layers are being used in the top level. So talking about the devices, these all are the devices, networking devices we have, that is laptop, palm top, PDA machines, then cell phone, pagers, sensors, hubs, switches, routers, and all. This is the important point. When similar devices are connected, we are using cross cable, and when different devices are connected, we are using straight cable, right? So you can see here, one PC is connected with hub, so we are using straight cable, and when the similar devices are there, they want to communicate, then we are using cross cable, right? This is the future of networking that we have seen nowadays. It is very popular, that is Internet of Things, and lots of application has been designed, and still we are working on it. And big data, along with big data, cloud computing, and Internet of Things, lots of application has been designed, and still we are designing for that. That is the future aspects. You can see the future scope. We can see, like, using this type of all this type of technology, Internet of Things, we can have this future application. If you are going to some place, so before reaching to that place, if you get this warnings or some kind of information in advance, then you can plan accordingly, or you can reroute your plan if there is a heavy traffic forward in your path. So in advance only you can come to know, with the help of such type of sensor, if it is deployed in our roadside. This is one of the future scope, or you can say application of networking, right? What are the challenges that we have is all the time, that is bandwidth. That is the biggest problem that we are facing in networking. Then the security risk. Nowadays you all know that different types of attacks, and our network should not compromise with the security. If network is compromising with the security, then there is no fun of communicating, and you can see that all the data be uh, will be shared by some other third party. That is not acceptable. So that is the problem. These are some challenges: quality of services, and these are the wide variety of terminals and devices with different capability. There is no single standard. We are having different devices, and how we can get security in that, how we can get maximum bandwidth in that, quality of service in that, that is again a problem, because we are not having a similar device, we are having a variety of terminals, variety of devices, and they all have different capabilities, right? So these are the limitation of computer networks. Talking about cybercrime, need of connectivity. Again, this is one of the major issue that we are facing nowadays, that is global protocol acceptance. And currently we are using IPv4, as we have seen in the previous slide. You have seen the 32-bit address, that is IPv4 we are using currently. But this address having some limitation, and this get exhausted nowadays. So we need to shift, because since we are keep on adding our devices, and for that reason we need more IPs, and it is not possible with IPv4 now to continue with it. So what we can do is we have to replace this protocol, that is version 4, with a new version, that is version 6, which having 128 bits addressing scheme, and now it can accompany more users easily. But again, this is a challenge for us, how to transfer from IPv4 to IPv6, because our devices are not compatible with IPv6. So we need to upgrade our software, we need to upgrade our hardware. That is the challenge, and we still waiting for it to get IPv6 enabled devices. Now, we're talking about mobile devices. Power source is again a challenge. Size, big size is a challenge. Design, compact design is again a challenge. How to decrease the size of a device, and most importantly, it should be cost effective. Otherwise, we are not going to purchase it. It is not good popular, so user will not going to use it, and that will be a challenge again for that user to use that thing. So all in all, if we talk about the type of network we have till now, we having two types of network. That is, one is wired network, and other one is mobile network, that is wireless. Okay, giving you a major difference between wired network and a wireless network. You can see in a wired network we having high bandwidth, whereas if we talk about wireless network, automatically the bandwidth goes down, so it is low. You can listen on wires, so easily you can detect some kind of error if it is there. Since we can put sensors on wire, we can see where there is a collision, or where there is some problem is there, that can be easily detect on wired network as compared to wireless. In wireless, it is not possible to put on your sensor somewhere to find out where the collision is. So again, there is a problem that is known as hidden terminal problem, that we will discuss in the future slide, that will talk about what is this problem actually is. Then in wired, we having high power machines, whereas in case of mobile device, we having low power. You have seen, again, we have to come back to that adapter, and we have to charge our machine again back to back after 2 days, 3 days. So that is a problem, we having a power limited. So we cannot, because of power again, we are limited with resources also. But in case of wired, we can do that. So we are having high resource machines in wired devices. So these all are the things that we have, and one of the major thing that still attract the mobile network as compared to wired network. You can see there are lots of disadvantages in mobile network, but still we are going with this, and the reason for that is that it is providing mobility. So because of this mobility, we are attracted to this mobile network, and we are accepting all this you can say and higher delay, all these things we are accepting, since it having the facility of mobility, and in this wired network we don't have mobility, right? Yes, class, any question till now? Yes,
No,
class.
sir.
Is it clear? Type of devices, we are having different types of devices, like laptop, we are having palm top is there, portable, these are the PDA devices, hand devices are there, then cell phones are there, pagers, these are the type of devices. Other interconnecting devices are there, which are hub, switches, these are the bridges, these are the interconnecting devices. which is used to connect one device to another devices. Yes? Any other thing? So that's the glimpse of the entire book that we are going to study in our computer networks. Now coming to the point after MST1, that is flow control and error control. Right? And students, one more thing, if you having any doubt in the previous topic that you have studied, you can just message me. I will repeat that part. Right? So as per the feedback from the student, here we have to start, that is flow control and error control, right?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yes. Okay. So talking about flow control, so in today's lecture you will come to know about what is flow control, what is error control, and what are the different protocols that we are dealing with to control the flow and error control, right? Can anyone tell me the role and responsibility of data link layer? Yes, you have studied in unit 1. Just now you have given your MST1 also. So what is the role and responsibility of data link layer?
Sir, to create frames.
To create frames, very good. Please
Flow.
tell me your name also.
Sir, Rajveer.
Yes, Rajveer, yes, good. To create frames, right? To distinguish between frames, right? So if I'm talking about data link layer, so this is the two most important, or the primary role of data link layer is to maintain flow control and to take care of errors. So for successful data communication between two end devices, between sender and receiver, you all know that to transmit a data, minimum one sender and one receiver is required. Okay, so for transmitting our data between sender and receiver for successful communication, we need that there should be a proper channel of communication between each other, and that channel need to be maintained with the help of some protocol, right? And what that protocol will do, that will take care of that flow of packet which is coming from one end to another end, right? So why we need flow control is to pace the data transfer at an acceptable speed, right? What does this mean is that we having a devices which have limited speed and memory. So if the sender is high in speed and receiver is slow in speed on accepting the data, then it is probably that whatever the packets which sender is sending will be lost in between, or it will not be received by the receiver. So what will happen? What the data is not reached successfully to the receiver. Now that is the problem, and that basically cause unreliability. So to provide reliable communication, again I am saying, to provide reliable communication, what is need? We need that there need to be a flow control between sender and receiver, right? Now talking about error control, now error, whenever data reach to the receiver, now that data bit is turned to some other bit, creates an error, right? So to detect that thing, we need some kind of error control mechanism, right? So detecting and correcting is both are the important aspects that need to be done in the receiving side, because detection can possible in receiving side only. So we will detect error in receiving side and we will correct it with some mechanism that we have. Suppose Hamming code. I hope you have studied Hamming code. Yes, 7-bit Hamming code you have studied, class?
No, sir.
Okay. So we will see that thing, because as per the feedback from the student, this portion has already completed. So I will come back with that in the next class, right? how Hamming code works. So Hamming code is 7-bit Hamming code is one kind of error correction technique, but that is again 1-bit error correction. Right? We will study that thing. One mechanism, very simple mechanism is there. With the help of that, in the receiving end, we can correct the data with corrupted data. Whatever the data we have received, and because of some noise, if the data bit has turned to 0 to 1 or 1 to 0, so in the receiving end, with the help of this Hamming code, we can able to detect that error is there, and even we can able to correct it. All right. That's why that 7-bit Hamming code is also known as error detection and correction mechanism. Right. So collectively, these functions are known as data link control, that is flow control and error control. Now moving further. So flow control refers to a set of.
I have the doubt.
Yes, please.
Sir, what is the
please
meaning
ask.
of that?
Please,
Sir,
tell me your name.
Rahul Singh.
Rahul, please ask your question.
I have the doubt that that first that flow. What is the meaning of flow code? Flow control, sir.
Flow control. What is the need of flow control? Now,
meaning, sir. Meaning.
Meaning. That's what I am telling you. Flow of data between sender and receiver. That is what it means by flow control. Flow of packet from one sender to the receiver. So if I am sending a packet continuously and you are not in the state of receiving packet because of your slow speed and limited memory, then what will happen? You will not able to grab all the packets which I have sent. Right?
Yes, sir.
You getting
yes,
me?
Sir. Thank you, sir.
Right.
Yes.
So
sir.
what will happen in that the packet will go will get lost in the network. So there will be no successful communication. This communication is not successful now. So how to get reliable communication? That's what I am telling in the beginning only. That is not a reliable communication then. If the packet is lost in the network, then we cannot say it is a reliable communication. Or we can say, yes? No,
yes,
no?
Sir.
So,
yes, sir.
Yeah, so that's why for reliable communication, where there is a fast sender and like server. If we talk about a server having a high capacity and it can communicate very fast as compared to a receiver which is a desktop. So now some server is continuously sending data and receiver is not able to receive data in the same pace. So that's why I have written over there that flow control is a need to pace the data transfer at an acceptable speed. Right?
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Now it's clear, sir.
Okay.
So now it's
Anyone
clear.
else having any doubt? Yes, thank you. Anyone else having doubt?
Error control.
Error control. So whatever, as we all know, so when we are transmitting our data over a medium there will be a noise, and because of that noise, there can be a change in bit in the frame. You all know that frame composed of zeros and one. So because of that noise, that 0 can convert into 1 and 1 can get converted into 0, right? So on the receiving end, how receiver will get to know that there is a change in that bit? So we need some mechanism that will detect there is an error. That frame which is actually sent is actually received by the receiver, is not the changed or different frame. Yes? Who has asked this question? Can I get your name?
Imani.
Imanish, yes. Yes, clear now? What is error control? So to control that thing, right, we need some kind of, so first of all, we need a mechanism to detect it. That's why it is called error detection. That yes, error has exist. That in this frame, there is an error. This is not the actual frame. For that, we need detection, right? And second, then after that, after detection, what we need to do? We need to correct it. So for that, we do correction. So one of the example of error detection and correction is Hamming code. That is 7-bit Hamming code. But the problem is in that only 1 bit can be detected and corrected. We can correct this problem, but we can correct only 1 bit. That's why it is called 1-bit error correction. 7-bit, that is Hamming code, right? So the ultimate goal is that we do not want to overwhelm the receiver. Why we are doing flow control? We don't want to overwhelm the receiver by sending the frames continuously to the receiver. The receiver is not in the in the position to receive the frames because of the limited speed or the limited memory it has. If we provide a memory also, that buffer memory, and if the server is continuously sending the frame and that memory get filled. Now, just taking an example, I'm just moving to you some visuals that will help you out. Just tell me, is it visible to you or not? Yes. Is it visible, class?
Yes, sir.
So you can see in one side you can see a host is there, another side there is a host B. Now host A want to send some data which is of size 4 KB and want to transmit a data. So host A transmit a data to host B, and here is the memory of host B, you can see. But here is the problem, you can see the problem is that once the memory get full, this host B will not able to receive more frame in the same sequence. So what host A is waiting for? Host A is waiting for acknowledgement, some kind of information, right? It's just like when you're talking with your friend in a phone call and he is continuously speaking, and in between, because of some disturbance, you don't get the lines. Then what you will say? You say pardon, please. So you give the acknowledgement, pardon. So again he repeat the same thing. So same thing is happening over here, that host A and host B, they are communicating, and when the host A continuously sending the data, because of some error or because of some issue, the host B has not received the packet in the sequence that is acceptable, then what will happen? The packet will get lost in the network, and this is not a reliable, or this is not a successful communication there, right? So to control this thing, we need flow control. Getting?